Lieutenant Colonel James E. Witte was born and raised in Toledo, Ohio. In 1964, he was drafted into the U.S. Army. Following his officer candidate school commission and flight school training, he flew helicopters in Vietnam from 1968 through 1971.
So he had a tour or two in Vietnam, flying helicopters, ran a depot to repair helicopters when they had heavy maintenance needed, and spent a fair amount of time in country there and got shot at more than once, I'm sure. But he has a lot of secrets that a lot of people probably don't know about.
His military service included tours in Central and South America, Europe, and Japan. A graduate of the Defense Language Program in Modern Standard Arabic, he also had several tours in the pre-Desert Storm Middle East. Witte retired from the military service in 1990 after completing 26 years of active service. His awards and medals included 29 Air Medals, 2 Bronze Stars, Pakistani Army Aviator Wings, and the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. After retiring, Witte earned a Ph.D. in adult education from the University of South Florida. His academic areas of interest included training program development and evaluation and the mechanics of how learning is assessed. In 1999, Witte came to Auburn and began as the only faculty member in Auburn University's adult education program. Under his stewardship, the program has expanded into a nationally recognized and internationally active entity. Capitalizing on his education and flying experience, Witte was appointed as the chair of Auburn's Aviation Management Program in 2020. On February 4, 2022, the Auburn University Board of Trustees declared the aviation program as a School of Aviation, and Witte was appointed as the School of Aviation Director, a position he holds today. Witte is internationally recognized as a leader in the adult and continuing education field and was inducted into the Adult Education Hall of Fame in 2020.
I have rarely found somebody who has been here at Auburn that doesn't know about Jim Witte, and especially what he did with the adult education program and now what he's doing with the aviation school.
Well, he's a visionary, so he knows how to take an idea and then lead the organization to achieving that idea. So he did that in adult education. He came up, with the idea for that program. He implemented it over many years.
Oh my goodness, the impact at Auburn University is really hard to, well, there's some ways to measure that, but it's lasting impact for generations as he has impacted so many different people. And if I'm not mistaken, he holds the record for the most doctoral students that have been hooded here.
There was an admiral I worked kind of for one time said that, there's a reason they call it the armed services. Service is what we're doing. There's lots of ways you can serve your community, serve your country. And he certainly exemplifies that. His service as a career Army officer for many years, coming into higher education and serving in that way to help mold young minds, to help young people become professionals in their own discipline. And then even within our program here, he didn't have to stay on and come take on this job, but he saw a need. His skill set is another way for him to serve and provide to the Auburn University and the aviation department school here.
A couple of years ago, we started sponsoring a couple of our young ladies in the program to fly in the Air Race Classic. First year we did that was before Dr. Witte came on board, but then the last two he has been on board. And we had a pep rally, if you will, out in the open area out here before the, as you walk into the FBO. And we had the Auburn cheerleaders over here, we had Albee here, but the biggest cheerleader of all was Jim Witte. And he has not quit doing that. He is a cheerleader for everything we do, whether it's things like that, whether it's signing up another airline to help us out like United just did last month. He's at the forefront of that and is the biggest cheerleader for everything we do and leads the way on that. So he definitely leads by example.
Well, often it's said that you can tell someone's a leader whether or not they'll be able to lead anybody. Is anybody following them? And clearly he is. He has he instills confidence in people, and he sets a direction. He gives his folks, faculty and staff in School of Aviation flexibility to make decisions. and supports them when they do. I think his leadership style is one of empowering people.
I would say he's definitely a, not to sound cliche, but kind of falls under the Renaissance man kind of description. Somebody that has a lot of experience, has a lot of life experiences, loves sharing those experiences, but is very colorful in the sense of those experiences. And what I mean, again, is a broad background of doing a lot of different types of things in the military and doing them well, and then moving into a second career in higher education. And as I kind of briefly mentioned before, had done construction work. He's a blacksmith, he's an artist. He has a liberal arts degree, so loves to throw out some Beowulf quotes and some other things around there to keep everybody on their toes. I guess if you're looking for a welder and a blacksmith that can quote Beowulf while flying an airplane and speaking 5 different languages, you found your person. And so that's Witte in a nutshell.
Well, since we're talking about Memorial Day and veterans, I think that all the things I've been talking about with Jim Witte, also a lot of that came from his experience in the military. He had a long and very successful career in the Army, but that experience as a soldier, as an officer in the Army, as an aviator in the Army, I think did a great deal to help him do what he's doing now. He has a love of aviation, and that's certainly helpful if you're going to run this school the way it ought to be run.
Well, Dr. Witte is always somebody, as an individual, always wants to leave you smiling. It may be a funny story that he leaves you with, or just a friendly handshake. And that is a wonderful thing, I think, to say about somebody, that when they leave the room, you felt better having been in the room with them.
Witte's service as a veteran and as an educator has impacted countless individuals across the globe, and we are honored to present him with this year's Distinguished Veterans Award.